Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas is an amazing ship. It has fun, excitement, and activities for everyone. There are pools for kids, pools for adults, pools for families, nighttime pool activities, water slides, surf simulators, and plenty of hot tubs. There's mini golf, rock climbing walls, skating rink, sports courts, a walking track, a gym, lots of bars, dance clubs, theaters and game shows, and lots of food options from buffets to a 3-story main dining room and specialty dining options. If you want to learn more about the Liberty of the Seas, this video is for you. Welcome to Dockside Travel. In this video, we're going to give you a full walkthrough tour of the Liberty of the Seas, starting with the outdoor spaces and then moving inside. The Liberty is the second Freedom-class vessel launched by Royal Caribbean in 2007. It carries 3,634 passengers and 1,360 crew. It's just over 1,100 feet long, and we're going to start our tour at the back of the ship near the top on Deck 13. This is where you'll find the Flow Rider. Beginners can try their luck with some boogie boarding from their bellies, while those who are more agile eventually work their way up to some knee boarding. A few brave souls even graduate to full-on surfing. If you're like me and prefer to people watch, there are plenty of great seats in the stadium-like setting. Fair warning though, it's not as easy as it looks, and it does take some skill. And like any physical activity, it can result in an injury if you're not careful. During our trip on the Liberty of the Seas, it was surprisingly not too busy in this area, and there only ever appeared to be short waits to get your turn. Also in this area are the water slides. There are 2 individual rider slides and a large raft slide. The stairs to get to the slides can be found in the center casing next to the Flow Rider. We did see some longer lines during peak times, as the slides are a big draw for younger cruisers and those young at heart. Moving forward, the next thing you're going to find on Deck 13 is the sports court. This is where you'll find people playing basketball, soccer, or pickleball. The schedules for each of these activities is posted in the daily planner. Right next to the sports court on Deck 13 is the rock climbing wall. I'm not a fan of heights, so this was definitely not on my to-do list, but during the hours it was open, the staff were on hand to brief the climbers, help them get geared up, and supervise their safety. Moving along to the forward part of the ship, you can find lots of sun loungers that were not very busy at all. At the very front of the ship on Deck 13 is where you will find Liberty Dunes, the onboard mini golf course. Royal Caribbean did an amazing job of designing this course. The views from here are spectacular, and it's definitely a fun activity that can be enjoyed by all. Melanie doesn't like to admit it, but this was another activity that I won. Next up is Deck 14 near the midship aft. This is where you'll find Oliver Twist Lounge. It's a great place to relax by day and take in some great views. There are a number of activities that are held here, including the silent discos in the evening. This area also has the Suite Lounge and the Crown Lounge for Loyalty Club members, Diamond and above. For those members, this is where you can find a lovely continental breakfast and coffee in the mornings. It's a very quiet place if you want to relax and unwind from the crowd. We did try breakfast here one morning, and the food was absolutely delicious. One deck above on Deck 15 is the Skylight Chapel. We didn't see anything happening in this location while we were on board, but it looks like it serves as a wedding chapel and a meeting place for religious gatherings. You don't see dedicated wedding chapels on many of the newer ships these days, but it was a neat feature. Now we're going to take you back down to Deck 12 at the aft of the ship, just below the Flow Rider area. This is where you'll find some outdoor seating and the Fuel Teen Club. As you make your way around to the front of the ship on the starboard side, you're going to find Johnny Rocket's restaurant, an old-school burger joint with some great eats. The decor is done to suit the era, and you can choose seats inside or outside. There is an extra charge for this food, as it's not included in your base cruise fare, but it is worth the experience. Next to Johnny Rockets is the arcade, featuring plenty of games to choose from. You can test your Pac-Man skills, basketball or skee-ball shooting, or practice your driving. Also in this area is the Explorers Club for Kids, and they organize lots of activities for younger cruisers. Moving on ahead, you'll find the walking and jogging track that circles most of Deck 12. It looks down on the pool areas below and has lots of chairs for those looking to soak up some sun. Also in this area, in the middle of the ship on Deck 12, you're going to find the Sky Bar. It's one of the many bars and lounges throughout the ship where you can get a cold beverage, and on a hot day, this is a place you're going to want to visit. This is a great place to catch a sunrise or a sunset, and I did spend a few mornings here with my coffee taking in the views and doing a little people watching. It's also a great place to take in some of the sail-away activities on your first day on board. There are some great views as you're pulling away from the port, and there's a great atmosphere on that first day. Finally, on Deck 12 towards the front is where you'll find the Vitality Spa. This is where you can arrange manicures, pedicures, massages, and other spa treatments throughout your cruise, all for an additional fee, of course. One deck below the spa is the Fitness Center. There were plenty of exercise machines, including treadmills, ellipticals, bikes, weight machines, and free weights. It spans quite a large area, and there always seemed to be an open machine for whatever your preferred fitness activity. Moving towards the back of the ship, next up you'll find the Solarium. This is where the Solarium pool and the Solarium bar can be found. The service at this bar was great, and the drinks were absolutely fantastic. It's a quieter area, and generally reserved for adults only. And there are seats located both in the sun and in the shade in this area. The pool, of course, is beautiful, and there always seemed to be a lifeguard on duty around this pool. Just off to the side of the Solarium pool are the cantilevered hot tubs. These large hot tubs hang out over the side of the ship and have some great views. Continuing on Deck 11, you come to the main pool area, and this is one of the main features of this ship. There are two large pools as well as several hot tubs in the area. There's a large video screen, and of course there's always lifeguards on duty for your safety. This is a multi-use family pool where you'll see people of all ages, and it does get quite busy throughout the day. It was particularly busy on Sail Away Day, where there was lots of hype and excitement. Again, the service at the pool bar was absolutely fantastic, and if you have a drink package, you want to visit here. Nighttime was no exception. There were movies and activities, and we definitely enjoyed a movie under the stars. We also found throughout our voyage that they set up portable bars where you could buy fancy pineapple drinks or get yourself a soft serve ice cream at Sprinkles. I gotta tell you, I had more than one. Continue on towards the back of the ship, you'll find more hot tubs, and eventually you're going to come to Splash Away Bay. This is the kids' pool area, and of course parents are welcome to supervise their kids. There are lots of fun activities, including smaller hot tubs, water slides, and sprinkler systems. This was very busy throughout the day, and the kids looked like they were having a ball. Finally, at the very back of Deck 11 is where you're going to find the food areas. The Windjammer Cafe, as well as Giovanni's Table and Chops Grill. The food stations are laid out on both sides of the Windjammer Cafe, as well as at the rear. There are lots of seats spaced around the whole area, and be sure to take a look around at what's on offer before you settle on your final choices. Of course, there's lots of food on this buffet, from breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and the options are almost endless. Whether you're looking for healthier food or maybe a cheat meal, you're gonna find it here. We did see what was on offer for breakfast, lunch, and dinner during our voyage, and we weren't disappointed at any time. Even for the dinner offering, there were lots of choices to choose from. Lunchtime, of course, there's burgers and hot dogs, or you can get your own handmade pasta choices. One of the neat features were these thirst quencher stations where you could go up and get your drink already poured up. Whether it was water, lemonade, or iced tea, you didn't have to wait in line. And of course, let's not forget the desserts. endless choices and lots of options. There's something here for everyone. At the very entrance to the Windjammer Cafe, you're going to find the Plaza Bar. This is where you can get yourself a cold drink or a coffee offering, whether it's a hot beverage or cold beverage. We stopped here a few times. Chops Grill is one of the specialty restaurants where there's an upcharge, but the food is absolutely spectacular and the service is always with a smile. Across the way from Chops is where you'll find Giovanni's Table, the onboard Italian specialty restaurant. Moving on down now through the middle of the ship, decks 6 through 10. They all look very similar because they have mostly cabins on board. The hallways and carpeting is all laid out very similarly. And no matter which hall you look down, it's very long and lengthy. Be sure to remember where your cabin is. Throughout the decks, you're going to find little spaces like the library and the card club, but we didn't spend any time here. So next up is Deck 5, one of the hearts of the ship. It's the Royal Promenade. This area is full of activity with lots of shops, bars, and food opportunities. This area was one of the nicest things we enjoyed about the Liberty of the Seas, and we spent a lot of time in the evenings once the sun was gone down in this area. At the very front of this area, we're going to take you through the Star Lounge, which is where there were lots of activities, trivias, and some entertainers would be scheduled for this space. We didn't spend a lot of time here, I will admit, because we wanted to be back out where the action was, the Royal Promenade. I had to get up very early to find this place empty, but I'll tell you, there's lots of choices here throughout the day. Of course, one of the big draws here is Sorrento's Pizza. This is where you can find a great slice, and it's all included in your base cruise fare. Melanie, of course, is a pizza lover, and she was not disappointed. Of course, you can sit on the promenade, or you can find seating inside the restaurant. Moving on down along the Royal Promenade, next was the Hoof and Claw Pub. This area got busier in the late afternoon and into the evening. Of course, there were lots of music opportunities and some great drinks on offer. Midway down the promenade, you can take the stairway to heaven, or maybe bad luck, it's an option to get down to the casino one deck below. But this is also an area where they organize things like the 70s dance party, and it was very well attended, and all the onboard performers gave a great show. Of course, Ben & Jerry's ice cream might be more your style. Of course, we had to stop for a cone a couple of times. They even had a cupcake shop on board that Melanie enjoyed thoroughly. Cafe Promenade is where you can get your cup of joe in the morning or your iced beverage, and they do have snacks on offer here, which was great. You can even book a next cruise if you're so inclined. At the very end of the promenade is the guest services desk where you can go if you have questions, and a neat feature where the promenade view staterooms where they had a window overlooking all the action. There's a 3-level dining room. The main dining room that's included in your cruise fare, it does span over 3 levels, and it starts off, of course, on deck 5 and goes all the way down to deck 3. The food in the main dining room, we were actually pleasantly surprised, and of course in Royal Caribbean style, there's lots of entertainment and activities offered by the staff. The menu does offer traditional favorites as well as some new choices that we were surprised to see on board, and of course the desserts never disappointed. Moving on down to deck 4, you come to the signature Schooner Bar. It has the nautical theme throughout, and there is a piano where there's lots of entertainment at night. We saw a couple of great sing-along parties taking place in this lounge, and if you're looking for some nighttime fun, it's definitely on your list. We also took in Sabor, the Mexican onboard specialty restaurant, and we have to say our experience was great. The service was absolutely out of this world, very attentive, and if you're a lover of Mexican food, you have to try this place. Moving on past the Schooner Bar, you come to the casino area, the adult arcade, and there are lots of table games, slot machines, and even some entertainment here from time to time. Next up is the photo lounge, and where you can go and see what photos you may have taken throughout your voyage and get them printed. This is followed by Bolero's Lounge, and you can get service on both sides of the ship. It's a great bar, great music, and again, we found some of the best bar servers at sea. Deck 4 is where you're going to come aboard on the first day of your cruise. It's a spot where you can find some great views if you're sailing out through the harbor, and it's where you'll find muster stations and check-ins, and it'll take you all the way to the front of the ship where it's the theater. The main theater spans both deck 3 and 4, and there are lots of seats here. We were never unable to find a place to sit. Of course, there's a bar right in the house to get your beverages during the entertainment, and there were speakers throughout the day. We took in Saturday Night Fever, and there's 2 levels, as I said. It was a great spot to take in some shows. Also on deck 3 is the karaoke bar, and we saw lots of great entertainers. There were people here, passengers who just got up and sang their songs, and I gotta tell you, there's some talented people on board. You go a little further back, you'll find Studio B, which serves as an ice skating rink. This also doubles as an entertainment venue. We were fortunate enough to take in the Adult Quest game show where all of the audience are participating. It's hilarious, very adult themed, so don't take those kids to that show, but we had a great laugh while we were here. Finally, all the way down on deck 2 is where you're going to find the gangway for your ports of call throughout your voyage. This is where you'll get off to visit your port and get back on at the end of the day. And that's the end of our tour of the Liberty of the Seas. Please give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel. If you're interested in more cruise content, we have a great video right here that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching.